Shafina, what's going on? What's happening, everybody? Email from Micah. What's happening, Susanna? D, what's going on? What's happening, everybody? Good evening. Happy Friday to you. Hope that you've had a fantastic night, as you can see. Fantastic day. As you can see, I'm joining you from my massage chair. And we're going to do we'll talk a little bit tonight with this massage chair. Your budgeting tonight? That's good. Hey, Suzanne Wilkins, what's happening? So I love that you all are here. I'm excited. Good to see you. And so we're going to talk some more love, and I'll talk about massages and how massage school and the process of learning how to massage taught me about love. Share some of that with you, and hopefully it'll be an encouragement for you. I went to massage school it's about 21 years ago. So I've been actively on and off doing the work for like 21 years. And so I went to massage school originally because I had this plan, I had a strategy. My mom actually went first. So I was in undergrad at the time, and around my senior year in undergrad, I was talking to my mom, and she was telling me about her dreams and how she wanted to go to massage school. So she enrolled in massage therapy school, and she was becoming a massage therapist. And I thought it was just really cool that my mom wanted to do that, to touch people's lives. And so when I graduated, I had a girlfriend at the time, and I wanted to stay in North Carolina in that area and be around her. But I didn't have really much of a reason. Like, I didn't have a job or anything down there. So I told my parents I wanted to go to massage therapy school, so I could still be around her. And, it was pretty cool because my mom was in massage therapy school at the time, and I was too at the same time. She was in Pennsylvania. I was in North Carolina. And so I'm down there, and I was able to be around my girlfriend still. And I was able to learn this skill of massage. And I wanted to do that in part because growing up in life, I had been around a lot of women that would complain that their man didn't know how to touch them. Like, oh my gosh, he just does not know how to touch me. And I used to be around, and I would be around, and I would hear, married women talking about it and complaining and the struggles of it, right? So I decided, I'm like, I'm going to massage therapy school. And I had a couple reasons why. One was I wanted to have those skills so I could serve my future wife. I believed in my mind, in my heart, like, I'm putting this on my resume because it makes me unique. Not, there's not a ton of guys that can say, like, I'm a professional at touching. I've learned the skill of touching. So I wanted that on my resume. So when I approach someone and we're having this aspirational talk of getting married, I wanted to be able to say, listen, marketing wise, look, I bring some skills to the table that, could be very beneficial. And I believe that's important, right? That we have something to offer, because really when we're in relationships, we're connecting with another person. And in one way or another, we're solving some problem in their life. We're meeting a need. We're doing something. And so when we can uniquely set ourselves apart, it's fantastic, right? So I wanted to bring some skills to the table, right? So being able to do a massage was one of the skills that I wanted to bring to the table. And I wanted to be able to touch people's lives and help them heal. But I figured, as I started learning and being in massage therapy school, and I started learning about serving people, I started to learn even more about women, right? I think there were three men in my massage therapy class. So there were like three of us and like 17, 18 women in our class. So obviously most of our treatments, we would have multiple treatments a week. We would trade massages like 4 times a week. It was the most peaceful year of my life because we were always doing massages. We're always practicing on one another. And so in those experiences, obviously, women go through different things in the course of a month, and certainly over the course of a year, and they were all different ages. So they're at different stages of life. And so being able to communicate and learn how to listen and be attentive to someone's body, and learning, how to touch someone when they had cramps and when they didn't feel good. And so I learned how to do a massage when a woman was crampy and she was on her cycle to help relieve the pain. So I'm learning all this stuff. It's just amazing gift to be able to learn how to touch. And what it was helping me to do was learn how to serve. And in that process, there was a statement that was made in our massage therapy school, a statement that we would open all of our sessions up with. And it was a mindset that we had. And it was this, that whenever we were working with someone, we would approach them with unconditional positive regard. We would hold their life in a positive, with a positive regard, in a positive space. Like, we weren't going to look down and judge our clients, knowing that people come from all different walks of life, different backgrounds. We would hold a sacred space for them and have unconditional positive regard. Again, one of those gems, one of those jewels that just tuck away, because in a relationship, if you can hold someone, hold a space for them where where you have unconditional positive regard for them, doesn't mean that you're going to always be, clicking and on the same page. No, it doesn't mean that. But to have an unconditional positive regard means I'm going to get back to this mental place of being able to honor you and keep you in a place and hold you in a space where I honor you. And I think one of the ways that we can do that, to hold a person in a place of unconditional positive regard and to do the same for ourselves, is to think on positive things. Think on the things that are good. Think on the things that are honorable. Think on the things that are praiseworthy. Think on those things that you want to celebrate. And what it does, it actually helps you to build appreciation, because appreciation means increasing in value. Like a diamond. If you have a diamond, and oftentimes you hear about jewels and gems appreciating over time, meaning that their value goes up. Well, the same thing works for us as people. If we can hold someone, and even ourselves, if we can do the same thing for ourselves, and we hold ourselves with a positive regard, and we think on these things, think on the things that are pure, think on the things that are honorable, think on the things that make you want to celebrate that. If you do that, what happens is you start to drive up your own value, or the value of that person in your life. Right? Sometimes when we give massages, sometimes people would be coming from work, and not everybody works a corporate job, and not all the time would people be 100% fresh, right? Sometimes people would wipe off or whatever, but sometimes they weren't. And you still want to hold them in a positive regard, even if they don't smell appealing to you, right? You still want to be able to do that. Now, at times it can be too much, and you can still, politely have a conversation with the person, and let them know, and whatnot. But for the most part, you serve. You serve the person where they are. And so understanding it's not about you in that case, it's about them, right? You're thinking about, what can I do for them? How can I serve them in the state that they are in? Not trying to necessarily change them, but finding a way to serve them. And massage therapy school was just, that whole process for the whole entire year was just so fantastic. And I think that being able to share that with you tonight, hopefully it would help you to think about how you can interact with people and how you can hold a sacred space for someone. Think about it like this: whenever you have time with someone, that is something that you and that person, you'll never get it back. You'll never get that time back. So I believe that is a great reason to hold time as very sacred. And if you're willing to be with someone, like we're together right now, I I I, I honor the fact that we're together, because you could be doing anything. There are people all over social media right now, and movies on, and people in your house. I'm sure there are lots of other things you could be doing. So being here together, that's a big deal, that we're sharing time together, and I appreciate it. And um so when we think about that, how do we honor that time? How do we use it? How do we hold it as sacred? And you think, if I celebrate this person, if I celebrate these moments, then guess what? They become even more special to me. So Classic Pastel says, how do you keep someone from being codependent in a relationship? Well, oftentimes when someone asks a question like that to me, where they say, all right, well, how do you keep someone from being codependent? I really like to dig into those questions a little bit more, because the terms, we can use terms that have a general idea, but they're not very specific to our relationships. So really, I think one of the more empowering questions we can ask is, what is the actual behavior that someone is doing that you want them to stop? Right? What behavior, what codependent to, if I say, oh, okay, you're codependent, or a person's codependent, for each different person that hears the word, they possibly would think they would have their own definition or own idea of what's happening. So when we start thinking about um, what action is someone doing without labeling it, saying like, okay, how do you keep someone from, you know, falling out on the floor and crying every time I have to go off to work? All right, that's something. Or how do you keep someone from texting me 50,000 times a day trying to find out what's going on? That's something. So when we're looking at codependency or any other label, really, we want to really know, well, what's the action that someone is doing that's not favorable? What's the thing that we would like to see? What behavior do we want to alter? I mean, because I think about it like, even with massage, I had clients that they were showing up regularly, right? They would show up regularly. They put me in their calendar because they wanted to schedule time to get a massage in one way or another, right? They were depending on me, which it wasn't a negative, because I was helping their life in a particular kind of way, and I wanted that. So from using me as their rock, their um, their band-aid, when healing needs to come from Jesus, not me. Well, I look at it like this. You, perhaps all of us, when people are in our lives, we have the ability to serve and make an impact. Um, go back to the massage example. You know, if someone comes in sore, if someone comes in hurting, plenty of people have entered my life with emotional pain, right? Physical pain, mental pain. So they enter my life with that. And for me personally, I'm not a person that says that directs people to Jesus, right? Not because I'm against Jesus, but because I believe that I have responsibility. And so the way that I think about it is, I believe that people come into my life because I am actually supposed to act and serve as conduit for the healing. So whether that's me showing up and serving time, or serving touch, or teaching, or caring, or being present, I believe that that's the love that that person might need. Now, I'm not going into the inside of them and changing things, but my presence and my care and my love and what I'm able to serve then makes an impact for them. And really, if healing is happening, then after a certain period of time, people are able to be strengthened and moved on. Now, I believe if someone's being codependent, for me, if someone's codependent upon me, if I feel like they're not able to move on without me, I'm going to check myself. And the reason why is because I believe that if I'm sharing and helping you grow and be strong, that at a certain point, you should be able to move on and fly. You should be able to move on and go forward. And so if that's not happening, if I'm not able to help produce life for you to move forward with your life, I'm going to check myself and say, am I crippling this person, or hindering them by the way that I'm interacting? Am I perhaps doing too much so that they're not actually being strengthened? Am I taking too much pressure off them, or whatever it may be, having to find out, so that, because in the process, if the end result is to see this person strong, that means I need to let them push the weight a little bit, right? If there needs to be some behavioral changes so that someone can be strengthened. Now, if you're with me and you're weakened, that's on me, because I'm maybe not qualified to help strengthen you, and you perhaps need someone else. And so I use that as a judge, as a judge and a barometer, and a way to measure, because I think that personally, I think that people come into our lives and we're able to serve them. And I believe, as far as my relationship with Jesus, that I actually say this. I actually, because I work with a lot of women, I hate the fact that so many women that I've met in my life only see Jesus as a good man. Like Jesus is the only example. I don't like that. I think that's a terrible knock against men. Um, that so many women can only find hope in Jesus, because really, if we're really duplicating the process, and this is the way I believe, no one else has to believe this. If we're really duplicating the process, I should be more and more like him in the way that I'm caring and serving and loving, and and the way that I'm presenting to the world, and helping someone to grow and be empowered, right? And that's when you look into the Bible and you study actually Jesus, his leadership style. He worked with people, called them to be with him, and then he empowered them so that they could move out and actually continue going. So he strengthened um he strengthened people, and so that they could continue to move forward. And so, like, yeah, if you've been in both coming from a divorce and trying to heal, I think that's really important, right? So that's great information. One of the things we do with massage, when we're having massage, is we have to find out the history of someone, right? We have a health history form that someone goes through, and we find out what kind of experiences they've been through, right? Because when you know someone's health history, you know then how to interact with them better. And then when someone has been through something, when they've been through divorce, that means they were in a relationship, something that they had perhaps some hope for, and then that ended, and now they're starting something new. But they may still be bringing, they're going to still perhaps bring some of their past with them. Might be some of it might be more raw than other places. Some wounds still might be open, right? Some things you may not even realize. And so when we look at that in a healing process, I would be careful to I'd be careful how quickly I judge something as codependency, especially if you recognize that you're in a healing process, right? I think if you're in a healing process with someone, I think it's I think if we look at it just physically, think about it like that. If someone has a broken arm or a broken leg, or if we both have broken legs, right? We're both in a healing process at the same time. Then how does that affect our relationship? Are we going out running sprints together? Are we running marathons with broken legs? Are we, right? Like what are we able to do? What maybe should we stay away from? What do we know about each other in this process of healing? These things I think are very important, because if you try to operate as if there are no hurts, or as if there is no injury, you're liable to push someone past what they're capable of doing at that time, which then actually results in more injury. If someone's not at a certain place emotionally with what they're able to share, or if they're not really willing to be open because of past trauma, but you're pushing and pushing and pushing for them to get there, that can be dangerous. Or how about this? How about someone that, because of their past, they're looking for a sense of comfort, and they're looking for a sense of security. And so, but you might see that as like, oh, this person is just so needy. Well, again, looking at their experience can help us, right? Someone's been through abuse and trauma or something like that. What are their needs? What are they communicating to you? And I think that when we're in that process, again, going back to the treatment room and massage, there are not a lot of external factors. Inside of my treatment room, it's going to be relatively quiet, right? The sound is going to be at a certain level. I try to leave the environment odor neutral unless someone wants like aromatherapy and they say, "Oh no, can you put some lavender on?" Okay. "Oh, I like this kind of music." I again am thinking about how to serve them, create a healing atmosphere, an atmosphere of peace so that when that person is in it, they can get what they need. And so it really pushes us to have conversation and dialogue and want to be present with one another. I would encourage anyone in any relationship to really focus on having and investing time, right? Invest time into sitting with a person, being with a person without a lot of external distractions, without the TV, without social media, without the phones. Not all the time, but sometimes just saying like, "Hey, let's just be together. Let's connect. Let's figure out what's going on with us. How do you feel?" It's. I'm glad you really brought this up because pretty soon, probably in about 2 weeks, I'm going to launch a program for married couples based around massage and helping married couples develop communication skills and relationship building skills so that they can have more intimate connection with one another. And massage is going to be the foundation of it. And because one of the things I learned in massage therapy school was that what I was learning applied to I wanted to apply it to my future marriage. And so I learned and I went about it that way, and I found that when I put it together and I was really learning, I created a program, and I did it one time. I created an 8-week program and I did it and I served it to this group of married couples to help them. I wanted to see if it would really work. And I just got great reviews from it, where as a couple, you learn how to be more therapeutic with one another. And that's your approach to your relationship. When you have your time with one another, you have a therapeutic approach. And I found that the couples, they loved the mindset switch, where they weren't just doing business as usual. They saw themselves as a therapeutic spouse, which was pretty cool. So I'll let you all know about that when that is getting ready to be launched. But I think that's what we really need to do, really understand where people are, and approach people with that without labeling, being very careful not to label or diagnose someone as a particular kind of way, but to understand where they are or what they might be going through. Like, okay, I'm I'm hurting, or I was hurting. I'm going through a healing process. In my healing process, I'm in this phase. Same with me right now. After this surgery, I'm in the healing process. I'm physically not as strong. I'm not able to lift up as much weight as normal because I'm in a healing process. And so the healing process means a little bit different, operate differently than when you are in your perhaps strength building phase, or when you are, when you're really maximizing your strength. See, there are different phases that we get to go through. And as we pay more and more attention, we fine tune our thinking and our approach to our relationships. I think it just enhances our experience because we become really dialed in. And that's what I was talking about the last few days when we talk about knowing someone, like really knowing them. What does that person need in this space and in this time? May not always be, but it's good to know. Like, okay, where are they now? What do they need now? And serving them from that place. So that's why I was on this massage chair tonight to approach relationships from a with a different view, and hopefully just to having the massage chair here kind of disturbed some of your thought pattern, right? I'm not just sitting in a regular chair. Yeah, that's true. I so needed that after 17 years of a narcissistic marriage. Yeah. See, we do anything for 17. You do something for 17 years and then you are able to get out of it, or you change. You still have 17 years of experiences, thoughts that are part of your life that you indeed have to heal from, right? If someone's 17 years of a narcissistic experience, it's definitely going to leave some wounds. And so you might find out in that process that, man, I didn't even know I had that wound until I got into this new relationship and that person touched that place. They said that thing or they did that behavior and it reminded you of the past. You find out like, whoo, wait, that looked a little bit like the past to me. And it triggers something, it sets off those alarms. But then you find out like maybe that person wasn't trying to harm you. Maybe they weren't trying to do that. Maybe it was completely innocent, but it's a good way to find out that, you know what, there's a wound in me that's still perhaps open. There's a tender spot. And that's what would happen in massage. So I could be massaging someone and I'm working on them. And I could ask them like, hey, you feeling good? Yeah, I'm feeling good. There's no problems, blah, blah, blah. Have a great week. Then I'm massaging them and I might hit a spot in there. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, and they do one of those numbers or, ooh, make a little noise. And then that's when I get to come back in and say, well, I noticed when I touched that area, I noticed when I touched that area that you had a response to that. Does that area, like, are you feeling pain there? Yeah. Right. Those are actually called trigger points. In a massage session, they're called trigger points. We could hit a particular spot and it's a trigger point, right? And so someone would, they'll give you a response. And so it's good to know, even in ourselves, very helpful to know when someone hits one of those trigger points, like to notice it, because it's just giving you an indication that something is happening. You don't have to know what the something is. Sometimes the very best thing that you can do is just realize there's something. Like, I noticed something. You don't have to diagnose it. You don't try to bring it to a conclusion. Being aware, starting to know there's something. I noticed when I said this, there was a response. I noticed there was something. I noticed when you came into the house today after work, you didn't necessarily seem like your normal self. Perhaps there was something in your day, right? And so being able to be aware of something is a very powerful tool. And it's a skill that we can develop, this idea that we can be more and more attentive in our lives. And you don't need another person for this. You do not need to be in a relationship with another person to begin noticing your somethings. You might notice yourself during the course of the day, like, oh man, my back is just hurting a lot lately. I don't know necessarily what it is, but I did notice something, right? Or emotionally, you might, some people in February, they despise February. It's too much love and blah, blah, blah. I don't like it, right? Well, that's an indicator of something. And so when we notice that and we learn that, it becomes a powerful tool, because then we're able to ask questions. The more questions you're able to ask, the more answers you're able to get. And as you ask more questions, you can gain knowledge that then helps you to move with an action that's going to make an impact. And so that's one of the beauties of learning, like learning love. Learning how to love, learning how to lead in love is an opportunity for you to become very powerful. Because learning how to love, and learning how to lead in love means that you have dedicated yourself to learning something so that you can better serve, right? Perhaps it's serving your own life. Perhaps it's serving a spouse or a family member or a community, whatever it may be, wherever you go, government, wherever you are. If you learn how to love, you're going to learn how to listen. And learning how to listen means you're going to have knowledge so that you can then serve and make a tremendous positive impact, because you're intentional with what you're doing. And that's the power of love. That's what love does. Love says, I will learn so that I can serve. And then the impact of learning and serving is something that's positive, that increases and develops and grows and causes that atmosphere to flourish. That's what we're looking for. We're looking to be experts in a particular area, in a particular way of loving and serving. and it makes a world of difference. So I'm gonna shut it down for the night. I wish I was getting a massage, but it's hard to massage yourself. But I'm gonna shut it down. And tomorrow I'll be on during the day, probably midday around 12 or 1 o'clock, somewhere around that time tomorrow and Sunday, and just be on at that time, not so late in the night. But look forward to connecting with you. Hopefully you'll get a message that I'm going live and that, we can connect. And I look forward to continue to work and serve this way. I might have to bring out my massage chair some more and do some more messages from the massage chair and grow this way and share this way, because there are really some great experiences that I've had related to massage therapy and touch. And I think that they're lessons that we can all implement into our lives. So thanks so much. I'm going to say a short prayer. Hope you don't mind. Hope you hang around for it. Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for your blessings. Thank you for each person that's here and this time that we've had together. I thank you for the opportunities to share and to engage with love, talk about love, to learn love, so that we can serve love, that we can make a positive impact in our own lives and in the lives of those that are around us. I thank you for each person that's here and the gifts and the talents and the treasure that is within their life, the power that they have to make an impact. I pray that they see, that they know they are valuable, that they are important, that they have something special and unique to give to this world in one way or another. Help them to see their worth and to know that they are a difference maker. I pray that you would encourage their heart tonight. And even as we go our separate ways, that you would help them to see opportunities where they can serve and make an impact. I pray blessings upon them, even as they do that, as they align with your will. I pray that they would be blessed tremendously, that their families would be blessed in their health and their relationships and their endeavors, their hopes, their dreams, their mental states of being, that their lives in every way would be blessed. We thank you in advance, and we pray safety until we meet again. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. So, fantastic night. Thanks for joining in and hanging out tonight for a little bit. I look forward to connecting throughout the weekend. Next, on Monday, we're going to kick off our the single slipper event, which I have been sharing this week. It's an event that is it's a 5-day coaching program. It's completely free, where we're going to talk about the importance and the power and the significance of being single, right? Being an individual. And I believe that the individual is the most important person in a relationship. Not one person over another, but the individual. And so celebrating singleness is something that I'm excited to do. A few years ago, the people that I was working with, the ladies I was working with, they, during Valentine's Day, a lot going on for couples. And they said, well, what about single people? And I said, all right, let's do something. And I created an event, and we had just a wonderful time together. And obviously now we've moved on to being online and doing much more with social media and the internet. So I said, well, this year, let's take the single slipper online. Let's make it a few days of an event, and let's connect that way. And I would love it if you would be a part of it. You can go to www.thesinglesslipper.com, thesinglesslipper.com, and like Cinderella, and obviously Cinderella strong. That's my thing. But it would be just great to be connected, be a part of that, and you can share in that experience. And so if you would like to do that, like to be connected next week for that, go to www.thesinglesslipper.com for this free 5-day event, and it will just be fantastic to be together. So you all have a fantastic evening and a great weekend. If I don't see you again, be blessed. Josh Productions, what's happening, my friend? Good to see you. You all have a great night. I'm B.A. Shepherd, 2 P's, A-R-D, reminding you to be a shepherd. The world has enough sheep. Good night. See you.